Gentlemen, excellent to be back with you on MGTOW Money. Today's topic, by the time you read this, Before I get into that, let me sincerely thank the ongoing support from the Patreon investors in this channel. Welcome Trevor, the newest member of the MGTOW Money army of Patreon supporters of this channel. Gentlemen, thank you. Thank you as always. It is because of your support that this channel continues, despite the best efforts of YouTube, of course, to bring it down. As always, see the video description right now. Become a Patreon supporter of this channel now. All right, before I get into today's topic, it goes without saying, this has probably been an extremely difficult time for many of you worldwide, regardless of what country you're living in. Here in the United States, of course, we've got 30, 40 million people unemployed or potentially losing their jobs, etc. And a lot of those people, frankly, are well-paid people. I know personally a guy, mid-level manager for a large Fortune 500 company who's out of a job right now because of everything that's been going on. And by the way, this gentleman is not a MGTOW and he has multiple kids and a wife who doesn't work, by the way. So he, as you can imagine, is in an extremely difficult time. If nothing else, men, I hope that you are taking right now, listen carefully, I hope you're getting some lifelong lessons. In other words, you're learning something from what's happening, even if it's not impacting you directly, that you're observing some things, that you're seeing that, well, maybe it's a good idea to keep an emergency fund around, to keep some actual cash around, some currency, some at least money in a bank account or something. Also, another idea, having multiple streams of income. Again, another idea that I've emphasized repeatedly. A third idea, going back to the very essence of this channel, is living with no debt. I can assure you, men, I personally haven't carried real debt for decades. That has made getting through this for me, despite tremendous losses I have had financially, and I'm talking about permanent financial losses I've had. Yes, I've had stocks go down on me, some of the bonds, etc. But the point is, I have permanent financial losses that I am dealing with. But because I have no debt, it has become much easier. I can promise you that. Gentlemen, I would highly recommend go back and take a look at my videos, for example, when I talked about building an anti-fragile lifestyle, or how MGTOW really is a superpower in my opinion. I think that might help some of you. All right, on to today's topic. By the time you read this, When I was in my 20s, I had already had some experience and background in stocks, bonds, futures, etc. I had professional experience in that area, and I've had a lifelong interest in that whole trading, etc. Anyway, I've got involved in futures on a particular trade, and I put up for at least the percentage of my net worth at the time, a large percentage of my net worth in a particular trade. And specifically, it was on futures on municipal bonds. I know, something weird, unusual, etc. But yeah, people do actually trade. Not just do they trade municipal bonds, they trade futures on municipal bonds. And one of the things that's great about futures is that it allows you lots of leverage. So I'm just going to use an example. This is not perfect, but you'll get the idea. You put up $1,000 cash, and they will let you trade a $5,000 bond. So in other words, you're getting tremendous leverage. So if that bond goes up in value, or I should be more specific when I say that futures contract goes up in value on that particular bond, you can make a lot of money. I'm talking about, you can make 50%, 100%, 200% on your money a day, a month, or sometimes even in 10 minutes. But the point is, just like other forms of leverage, and again, go back and see my prior video when I did more detail about leverage, is that you can also lose half your money, if not all of it, in 5 minutes, 1 minute. The point is that it can work both ways. And it can be a tremendous way to build wealth. And it can also be a fantastic way to, of course, blow up. Again, see my prior videos about numerous men who have had billions of dollars with a B who, using leverage, they blew up. Now, getting back to my story, there I am in my 20s. I got a high percentage of my net worth involved in this muni bond trade. And guess what? It blew up. I got a call. I'm at my job, a job that I hated, by the way. I got a call. And it was from the brokerage, and they were doing a margin call. They were telling me, we are going to sell you out of your position right now because you are below our margin requirements. And to get out of this, you either have to A, wire immediately several $1,000s to us, or B, we're selling you out and you will take a tremendous loss. Well, guess what, men? I didn't have several $1,000s to wire in, and so therefore they did sell me out, and I did end up with a tremendous loss. And yes, it was very, very difficult. So by the time you read this and hear more about this, hold it. Before I get into that, let me quickly mention our sponsor. Our sponsor today is our good friends at Webull. Have you guys noticed one of the best ways to make money, if you want FU money, that is through investing? It is highly unlikely, I'm not saying impossible, but it's just highly unlikely that you are going to get FU money by working a regular job. You've got to do something different. You can start a business, that's an idea, or you can do it through investing. I can only speak through the path that I've gone through, and furthermore, that I know some other men have gone through, and they have gotten their FU money through investing. You can do this, men. You can invest in cryptos, you can invest in stocks, you can invest in bonds. All of these things are available on Webull. And a couple of things that I especially like about Webull are, one, there's no fees. There's no charges. You can trade all these things at no additional cost. There's no minimums involved. You don't have to put up $10,000 or even $1,000. Furthermore, men, go to the link right now in the video description, open up an account with Webull, and they will give you a free share of stock. I said free, no strings attached, no catches, etc. The stock could be valued up to $250. $250 for opening up a brokerage account. That's it. You put up no money. If you choose to put up $100, they will give you a second share of stock. The second share of stock could have a value of up to, that's right, $1,400. I know at least one guy who got a share of Google, for example, when he opened up put up the $100. The point is, men, you can do this. Go right now to the video description today. Open up an account with Webull. Get at least your free share of stock. If not, grab your second share of stock after you put up your $100. All right, let's go back on topic. By the time you read this, I'm quoting in this particular case a 20-year-old young man, a college student, named Alex Kearns. Alex was evidently active with the Robinhood stock trading, crypto app, etc. And in this particular case, Alex was doing some option trading. I won't go into all the specifics about option trading and that type of thing, but option trading does involve leverage. And I'll go into that in a little bit more detail in just a second because this is important. Needless to say, Alex was in a trade, and evidently at some point during one of his trades, and by the way, there's a screenshot. If you'll look very closely, I include a screenshot. It showed that he had a negative balance in his Robinhood app of over $730,000. $730,000 negative on his account. At least that's what it appeared to show. And needless to say, Alex became very, very distressed. And I can imagine I'd be very, very distressed. And especially if I'm a 20-year-old, I presume, new trader, I haven't had a lot of experience, etc. this would be an extremely upsetting situation. And unfortunately, to take this a step further, there was a tragedy because Alex chose, based upon seeing this, Alex chose to throw himself in front of a train. Now, he passed away as a result, and there have been a lot of recriminations and a lot of criticisms of the way Robinhood deals with customers, etc. And furthermore, by the way, it's very important I should mention here, he was not actually down $730,000. This was how the Robinhood app in this particular transaction was being reflected. Again, I won't go into all the details, but the bottom line is he might have been down a couple of thousand, like $2,000, $3,000. We don't know. Anyway, the bottom line is this was more of an accounting type thing. And if he would have waited a couple of days, it would have reflected correctly that, hey, you're only down a couple of grand. But here's what you men need to take from this tragedy. And this has nothing to do with the Robinhood app. There's 3 very important lessons that you need to take away. This is critical. Listen up. 1, no matter what, listen, it's only money. Listen to me clearly. It's only money. I can't be any more specific than that. Of all the things that I've had the most issues with, that I had so many serious, depressive, horrible nightmares about, nearly everything somehow ties back to money. So I get it. I totally get it. No matter what, though, money problems, or at least for the most part, I presume, money problems can be resolved. There's nearly always a way out. They're typically always temporary. There is no debtor's prison. They're not going to put you in jail. And I get the shame and whatever, and I totally understand all that. But just listen to me clearly. This is only money, man. You can always walk away no matter how bad it gets. 2, using any leverage is dangerous in my opinion. I've talked about this before. You can see my prior video where I went into more details about leverage and using margin, etc. But let me just give it to you in 10 words or less. If you're borrowing money, you're using leverage. So let me say it again. If you're borrowing money, you're using leverage. If you buy a house and you don't pay cash for it, you take out a mortgage, you're using leverage. If you buy a stock and you're using margin, you're using leverage. If you're trading options or futures, you are using leverage. If you're trading Forex, currency futures, you are using leverage. I highly discourage you from using leverage unless you've got a tremendous amount of experience and you've got a lot of money. I can't be any more specific than that. Many people, in my opinion, cannot emotionally handle using leverage. 3, losses are inevitable with investing. So let me say it clearly. If you invest money in basically anything, you have the possibility, I didn't say the probability, but you have the possibility of losing money. You can lose money in the stock market. You can lose money in the crypto markets or in the bond market or whatever market you want to name. If you're concerned, if your personality type, and again, I've done a video about various personality types and in terms of investing, if your personality type would be so distressed over losing $10, $20, $50, or how about $5 million, whatever it might be, the point is that if you get upset about losing money, then you know what? You probably shouldn't be investing. Or if you do choose to invest, it should be a very, very small amount of money. It should be like in an S&P 500 index fund or something like that. Otherwise, keep your money in a bank account, put it in some sort of secure government bond. There are lots of absolutely ironclad things that you can do with your money. If losing money really scares you, then you should not, I can't emphasize enough, do not invest. There's other ways to be okay financially into the future that have nothing to do with losing money As I've said in numerous videos regarding investing, if you have any doubt, stay out. Gentlemen, as always, hit the like button if you found this profitable. John Galt, out.